The Ireland U.S. Consul is greatly honored to present its Lifetime Achievement Award to him at this, our 52nd annual dinner here tonight in New York City. It is a high honor and a distinct privilege for me to ask you to join me in welcoming Ireland's Prime Minister, Taoiseach Enda Kenny.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bill, Ambassador, Consul General, former Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. I know Brian Stack for many years. Had the privilege of being Minister for Tourism quite a long time ago, and he used to say to me, we bring 50,000 a year to Ireland and put 500,000 bed nights in there. And I said, Brian, I've got to go and talk to some of these people to see what kind of experience they have, which I did. And we attended a lot of tourism fairs. And some of the American people said to me, yeah, but I mean, why should I go to your country? I mean, it rains all the time. And where I come from, it does, 200 days a year. I developed my own line anyway, and I used to say, well, that's true, but it's different. First of all, it's acid-free. Secondly, it's good for your complexion. And thirdly, it's anti-wrinkle. I said, look at me, I was born in 1927. Anyway, I just want to say it's a privilege to be here at the 52nd US Ireland Council annual function here in the Metropolitan Club. And thank you, Brian, for your introduction. This council was formed way back in the time when President Kennedy was president, and ever since then it's been a consistent supporter of Ireland through highs and lows. I want to congratulate you, Jerry, as a businessman, as a man of courage, as a person of vision, as a person who's absolutely stubborn in following through what your belief is. And I know that this massive investment is almost across the line, and we wish you every success with that, and we'll support you very strongly, as indeed will the farmers of that region, right up to Donegal, in years to come when they see the real benefit of Mayo Renewable. It's going in at Killala on the north coast, where the French landed in 1798. It took them a while to arrive. This little delivery has taken just a little longer than we expected, but it's almost there. I'd also like to say that I want to acknowledge the presence here of board members of the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. This was founded back in 1904 by that great sculptor of words, W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats, and Lady Augusta Gregory from County Galway. And they defined the ambition of setting up a theatre like the Abbey, to bring up on the stage the deeper thoughts and emotions of Ireland. And that's exactly where we are now, because we need to bring the thoughts and the emotions of Ireland to the fore. We've come through a pretty torrid time in the last 3.5 years, and Mr. Swanson's set it out there. For a country of 4.5 million, with less than 2 million working, to find a catastrophic situation, the economy went into free fall, had to borrow 64 billion, and no tools or mechanisms at a European level to deal with that. It meant negative equity for everybody, 250,000 jobs gone, emigration, despair, disillusionment, despondency, no hope, no name, no integrity, no credibility. So you're landed with this by the people, a double mandate. 1, fix your public finances. 2, put the country back to work. And that meant giving clarity, a horizon, decisiveness, courage, and say to people, look, let's draw on the emotions of the Irish here. What is it that we do best when your back is to the wall? Take off your jacket and roll up your sleeves. They have a single objective of sorting this out, not for me, because I don't take myself seriously, I do take the job seriously, but for the generations that come behind us, to build a country that will not be allowed to slip back into an economic swamp, and that they can have a sense of pride and conviction of the country that they live in for their children. I set out 3 ambitions that are not aspirational, they're achievable. The first is to make our country the best small country in the world in which to do business. Secondly, best country in the world in which to raise a family. And thirdly, the best country in the world in which to grow old with a sense of dignity and respect. We've got 75 million worldwide. In 2016, we commemorate the centenary of the Rising of 1916, which was the first, if you like, stumbling steps to achieve political and economic independence. And just yesterday evening in the General Post Office in Dublin on O'Connell Street, we launched the programme for the decade of centenary commemorative events, the start of the Great War right through to 2022. We lost so many thousand men, 50,000 in the Great War. We commemorate the activities of their joining to fight for king and country, or to fight for the freedom of small nations. You will recall from your history that the question of home rule was always big in Ireland. The Irish Parliamentary Party had fought for 40 years to get that. And on the eve of the Great War, it was achieved in the House of Commons, but was never actually enacted by John Redmond and his National Party. So 1916 came, and from that came the growth of independence and the Civil War, and out of that came the fledgling state through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and so on. We've had the Troubles in the Northern Ireland for 30 years, a scar where 3,000 people were maimed and butchered and blown up and lost their lives and disappeared and so on. We all sat down at the end of the day and put together a fragile peace which is in situ now for over 20 years, and where I met some young people in the consulate this evening with the approval of Consul Jones to talk about peace in communities and how to engage with young people. We don't want a situation where the future is blocked by the past, and where the lack of imagination of politicians constricts the opportunity for young people to open the doors to the future, which is coming at us at great speed. That's why I commend the President of the United States and Secretary of State, Senator Kerry, for appointing Gary Hart as the US envoy to help the discussions which are taking place at the moment. So I'd like to say to you that having assessed the situation of despair, it was necessary to set out a plan and a strategy and go to the people and say, look, there's nobody going to help us here unless we help ourselves. And it meant enormous sacrifices for so many people. And it meant having unions vote for restricted salaries, no increases and no increments, removals from the public service, the stripping away of all the perks from politics, ending corporate donations for political parties, all these things. It also meant going abroad to this great continent and so many others and say, we've got a different regime now. We want to sort this out, and we will sort it out. So, in those 3.5 years, we've come from a point where interest rates were 15%. They were blocked out of all the markets. Now they're 1.6. Unemployment was 15.2. It's dropped to 11. We'll be down to the 10s in the new year. We have reduced the deficit we will have it reduced to below 3% next year, eliminated by 2018, and full employment by 2020. There is a rising tide of confidence, a surge of conviction that we can actually do these things. We're now in a position where we're actually attracting over 1,000 jobs a week, 2,000 alone last week, and the line of investment into the country is very strong, epitomised by Jerry Crotty and his investment in Ireland and so many others. So last week we had the Web Summit in Dublin. 22,000 creators, innovators, nerds. They're people who are changing the frontiers up ahead of us, the way you think, the script they write, the code that they write, the way things are going to happen. We see the lines of people wanting to come to Ireland. What is it about these people? Why was I in Turin 3 weeks ago talking to 81 leaders, 27 from Europe and the rest from the Far East? And they all said, how can you do this? We're now the fastest growing economy in Europe, 5% projected growth this year, when we've come from negative growth to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. This year projected 4.7 to 5%. For the next number of years, 3.5 to 4%. So what we're going to do, and what we have been trying to do, is put the blocks behind the wheels of the economy that it won't roll back, that it's going to go forward. And Europe's got its challenges, structural, unemployment, poverty, all these things. And yet, for us, we've achieved beef deals with the United States, almost there, China, Japan, so many other locations who want to be associated with Ireland. Opened a 100,000 square foot unit for Facebook just in the last fortnight. They're all there, all the ITs, all the softwares, all the pharmaceuticals, the biosciences, life sciences. They're all in Ireland. And why is that? I'll tell you why. Because no matter how high the bar is set, the young Irish are going to meet that challenge, and they'll beat it. And it is true for the young man who said, I'm blown away by the talent I see walking in the door. Because I've been through all of these firms, well, most of them anyway, and when you say to them, tell me about it, whatever challenge is set, you're going to rise to it. And for me, the single biggest criteria that's come from our country in the last 20 years has been the confidence of our young people. For 2016, we want to tie all of the Irish diaspora together. The United States, all the places where the Irish enclaves have been, Australia, South America, Europe, everywhere else, and tie them all together digitally so that they know and understand that there's absolutely nothing can stop us as a people if we only apply ourselves to a single objective of building a country of which we can be truly proud. And that's our ambition, and that's going to be our achievement. We've built so many other countries. I say it's time to come home and build our own. And that's what we're going to do. So whether it be in business in the States or wherever else, we've got this connection which is very much alive, which is very strong. And I see John Leahy down here with the finest famine memorial in the US in Quinnipiac, and I hope to visit you there, John, before too long. When I opened the National Famine Commemoration in Strokestown this year, on a day of teeming rain, which is the way it was in 1847, when 1,100 had to walk to Dublin by the canal, get on a boat to Liverpool, and go from there to America, most of whom died on those ships, called the coffin ships, on the way across. And that's why when Kevin O'Malley's been appointed as the US ambassador, his people came from Westport, County Mayo. They were potato pickers, tatty hokers as they're called. They went to Scotland, and the next generation came to St. Louis. He's going to be a very fine ambassador representing this country in Ireland, and we wish him the very best of luck. We've changed the rules that applied in Ireland, because you've had all this talk about road maps for tax. We have 100,000 people employed in multinationals in Ireland. We got rid of what they call the double Irish. We want companies in Ireland to register and to see that their employees are there. There are no brass plate companies in Ireland, because this was causing reputational damage. It's gone. Our corporate tax rate is 12.5%. We're not afraid to lead or to be pioneers in saying we have nothing to fear here, because we've got the greatest talent pool on the planet that can stand against any competition. So for the future, we've set out the strategy beyond 2020 that applies for people who want to invest in our country, and they're queuing up to do so. From a point where we were blocked out of all the markets, they're now offering money to the country tax-free to spend, or interest-free, to spend on investment. I was in Germany with Chancellor Merkel 18 months ago. She said we need to do something about Ireland's credit. in terms of access to credit for small businesses. So she offered the assistance of the KfW AAA rated state bank in Germany. We put that facility together with the Silicon Bank from California, with the European Investment Bank and our own resources, and put together a fund of 800 million last week on the table for small and medium enterprises, which will leverage about 4 billion over the next couple of years, and that's in addition to what the restructured pillar banks are now lending. But the interesting thing that I say to you about that is that the director of the European Investment Bank said to me, no other country in Europe could have done this in 12 months, where the entire facility was put together, conditions, regulations, money on the table, and signed off in less than 12 months. And that's where we need to be. We want to show America and everywhere else, if they want to do business in Ireland, they're going to be able to do business in Ireland. Because the communication lines between business and government are very short. And they're for the right reasons, because we want to open the doors for business. We want to open the doors for jobs and opportunities where people can live their lives, raise their families, and have their careers while we're on this conveyor belt of mortality. It was Kennedy who said, this is about, it's leadership you need, not showmanship. He also said, you know, we all inhabit the same planet, we all breathe the same air, and we are all mortal. So while we're here in this magnificent setting, it's important to understand that politics is about people first and last. And our challenge, to be honest with you, is that the big macro figures are moving in the right direction. Everybody knows that. But when they close the door at night and go home and say, how am I? Am I doing better or worse than I was last year? I put up with all these sacrifices. I've been very frustrating time. I want to bring my son or daughter back from Australia or from America. And these are things that are important. And that's the challenge of government. And in our most recent budget, the first in 7 years, where there were no tax increases, we've actually reduced income tax and started to give back to those who are most severely pressurised in that. I had the privilege of being in Capitol Hill in March and speaking there to the great and powerful of the United States. I was struck by the fact that when I looked at the American flag and think of the national anthem and Old Glory, I said, you know, the next time you stand with your hand on your heart and you sing the words of the national anthem, remember that the Irish are as tough and as brave and as courageous as ever they were. But some of them are not fully free because they can't go home, because they won't get back. And if we're to have legislation changed, or changes made in the immigration status, it means that those people who are registered here, who pay their taxes here, who want to live here, will be able to go home. Because I opened a family room in a hospital last week, which was there for bereaved when somebody passes away. And the room was lovely, and all the furniture was nice and new. But the main feature in the room was a television screen as large as that. And when I said, well, is this a bit elaborate? He said, no, that's actually for speaking to people in America who can't come home when somebody dies. I explained this to the President and to the Speaker of the House. I said, like, if you're going to do anything, what we need is the facility to go and come. Go home and come back. Pay our way and have a line for a citizenship if that's what people wish. And that's what politics means to me in terms of it being about people first and last. So we've got challenges, structural changes up ahead, reduce our debt, all that's heading in the right direction. Believe me, whole course, steady nerve here. This is a position where countries moving ahead and powering in the right direction. I'd just like to say to you that on page 5 of your book there, if you look at it, there's a picture of a 2-story house down in the village of Glan in West Kerry, and far out in the distance you'll see the Skellig Vihil, the little Skellig and the big Skellig. And the big Skellig, there are 800 steps cut out there in 800 AD, where the monks lived in the beehive huts at the summit. There are no handrails, there are no guardrails. They had no GPS locators, or they had none of the helicopters or drones to land them in there. They landed on their little craft and walked up. George Bernard Shaw said, "He who has not walked among the beehive oratories on the Great Skelligs does not know their country through and through. When Seamus Heaney died, they said to me, you know, what is your favourite Heaney poem? And I said, Lovers on Arran. And he described the eternal Atlantic with the sun glistening on those waves, as he said, like shattered glass. And as they come round the headland, sifting from the Americas to embrace Arran. So we've come sifting to America for years. Now it's both ways. In the Presidency of the Union, we put together the TTIP discussions. We want those to conclude. We want to engage with America. We want to work with America, help America as they do with us. And that's about people, interconnected and interdependent. And for that reason, I just want to say that it's a privilege to accept the award on my own behalf, but on behalf of all the Irish people. The Ireland-US Council has done a magnificent job over the years, and long may it continue to do so. And for you, Brian, I know that it says it's a business organisation, and this is true. So here's the challenge for you. You've got great ideas, great people, great experience, and all the rest of it. Would you, for God's sake, go into a room with the best people you can find here, whatever it takes, Brian, and put together a little business plan for me that might allow us to win the All-Ireland final for once in 63 years. Because I had to say, by the biggest majority in the history of the state, I might have to legislate for this thing. It's like winning the Super Bowl. Can we put a bill through the House to ensure that a county that has been in the top 5 for the last 60 years but hasn't won it? This is about leadership. This is not about showmanship. This is about doing deals, I think, here and there. It's about having all these things. Thank you very much wherever you're from. So, thank you indeed. It's a privilege to be here in New York. I look forward to meeting you all before the night is out. God bless you. Thank you very much indeed.